Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about the chapter atoms and molecules. In this session, we are going to see practice sheet related to this chapter. First, let us say about some conceptual questions. Name the Indian philosopher who proposed that the smallest indivisible particle of matter as Paramanu. Who was that? Yes, we know as him as Maharshi Kannad. Maharshi Kannad proposed that every padartha is made up of tiny particles called anus. These anus are composed of paramanus. So finally, the smallest individual particles of every matter are paramanus. Here, paramanus represent atoms. These paramanus are combining together to form anus. Anus nothing but molecules. So these molecules all together build up a matter or padartha. So in that way, for every matter, the building blocks are indivisible particles of every matter are paramanus. This concept was proposed by the scientist or ancient philosopher or Maharshi Kannad. Next. Law of definite proportions was proposed by. Yes, law of definite proportions was proposed by Joseph Proust. We have studied about two laws. One is law of conservation of mass, which states that mass neither be created nor be destroyed, or matter neither be created. So here in this atoms and molecules chapter we have seen atoms neither be created nor be destroyed during a chemical reaction. Just the recombinations of atoms occur in the chemical reactions. That you have seen. That law of conservation of mass was proposed by Lavoisier. Second law, we have studied one more, it is law of definite proportions. This law of definite proportions states that in the formation of a compound, elements always combine in simple whole numbers ratio. Okay, for example, if we take water, in the formation of water, hydrogen and oxygen they combine always in the 1:8 ratio by mass. However, you prepare the water and from wherever you collect this water, this ratio of combination is fixed between hydrogen and oxygen. This was proposed by law of definite proportions, which was proposed by Joseph Proust. Okay, next. Who introduced the term mole in chemistry? Actually, the particles in the matter are very tiny. Just now you told in the first question, the smallest individual particles of matter are atoms. These atoms are very small and they exist in a large quantity in every matter. So to count such kind of particles, we have to use a big numbers. So that is why they have derived an unit to calculate the quantities of these atoms and molecules present in the matter. That unit is mole, which is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 particles together called as 1 mole. This number and this term mole was given by Amedeo Avogadro. Actually, the quantity of mole, the value of mole was given by Amedeo Avogadro. But actually here they're asking the term mole was introduced by. The term mole was introduced by first William Ostwald, not Avogadro. The value and the quantity of Avogadro number or mole was given by Avogadro, but the term mole was first used and introduced by William Ostwald. This is the correct answer. Okay. Next, the number value 6.022 into 10 to the power of 23 is called. What is it called? This number. These many particles together called as 1 mole of particles. This number was given by the scientist Amedeo Avogadro. So in the honor of his name, this number is called as Avogadro's number. Okay, 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 is called Avogadro's number. Next, a sample of ammonia molecule irrespective of source contains 82.35% nitrogen and 17.65% hydrogen by mass. This data supports what they have given. So irrespective of these sources, a sample of ammonia from wherever you collect, it is containing 82.35% of nitrogen and 17.65% of hydrogen by mass fixed. So this data supports law of constant proportions, which is also called as law of definite proportions. Okay, law of constant proportions or law of definite proportions states that elements combine always in fixed ratio by mass to form a compound. So from wherever and however this ammonia is being formed, this percentage by mass ratio will be fixed between nitrogen and hydrogen. This is illustrated by the law called law of definite proportions or law of constant proportions, which was proposed by Joseph Proust. Okay, here B is correct answer. Next question, which of the following is not correctly matched? See here, some elements names and their symbols are given. Identify which is not correctly given. First one, calcium. The symbol of calcium is Ca. It is correct. Silver. For mostly, what are the principles which we have to remember while writing the symbol of an element? First, which were given by suggested by Berzelius. First among them is the starting letter of the English name of the starting letter of the English name of an element is taken as its symbol, which is written in capital letters. If that first letter of that element's name is given as symbol for some other element already, then along with the first letter, second prominent letter also is taken into its symbol. If there are two letters, first letter is written in the uppercase, that means capital letter. Second letter must be written lowercase, that is smaller letter. And for some elements, instead of taking symbols from their English names, their symbols are taken from their Latin names by following the same rules again. Now, if you see calcium, the starting letter of calcium name is C, but C is given as symbol for some other element carbon already. That is why, along with the first letter C, second prominent letter A also taken into the symbol of calcium. So symbol of calcium became now Ca. Did you observe that? The first letter is written capital letter, second one small letter. This is correct. Next, if we see second one, silver. Silver symbol is derived from its Latin name argentum. So their first letter A and the second prominent letter G, these two are taken into its symbol as Ag. So it is the same given here. This is also correct. Next, if you see gold, gold symbol is also derived from its Latin name aurum. There also starting letter again A. Along with the starting letter A, second prominent letter U also taken into its symbol. So it became AU. Now the symbol and the name gold both are correct here. But if you observe the last one, copper. For copper also, its symbol is derived from its Latin name cuprum. There the starting letter is C. This C is already existing as symbol for some other element. That is why along with the C, second prominent letter U also taken into its symbol. Now the symbol for copper is Cu, but not Co. Co is a symbol of some other element, namely cobalt. But for the copper symbol is cuprum because it is derived from its Latin name cuprum, cuprum. Okay, Cu is a symbol of copper but not Co. Now it is a incorrect matching. Okay, it is correct answer now. Next, which of the following will have maximum mass? How to calculate the mass? We know the mass of one molecule, which is called molar molecular mass. Let us see that here. 1 mole of ammonia weighs its molar mass, that is equal to 17 grams. So 1 mole weighs 17 grams. What is the quantity of ammonia given in the first option? 1 mole, 0.1 mole. We know 1 mole weighs its gram molecular weight, that is 17 grams. 0.1 mole weighs obviously 1.7 grams. If you do cross multiplication also, if you take it here, x, if you do cross multiplication, x is equal to 17 into 0.1 divided by 1. We get it as the same again, 1.7. But it is written here directly as we know this. Okay, 1.7 grams of ammonia is there. Second one, 10 to the power of 22 atoms of carbon. So in terms of atoms is given here. We know 1 mole is nothing but 6.022 or 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms. 1 mole of atoms weigh their gram atomic weight. Gram atomic weight of carbon is 12 grams. So 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms of carbon weighs 12 grams. Now 10 to the power of 22 atoms of carbon weighs how much? We get approximately 0.2 grams. So this also we can calculate by using cross multiplication method. If we consider this as x, if you do cross multiplication like this, so x is equal to, what do we get? This will come to subject side. Now it becomes 12 into 10 to the power of 22 divided by this Avogadro number, that is 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23. So if you do multiplication calculation here, we get it as 0.2 grams approximately. Okay, next third one, you see here also it is given the same way in terms of molecules. It is given, we know 1 mole of molecules weigh its gram molecular weight, that is 1 mole means how much? 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules weigh exactly their gram molecular weight. Here the compound given is carbon dioxide. We know its gram molecular weight as 44 grams. Now we can say as 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23 molecules of carbon dioxide weigh 44 grams. Now 10 to the power of 22 molecules weigh how much? Here also if you do cross multiplication, we get it as 0.73 grams approximately. Okay. Next one. 1 gram of iron weighs. Actually, they have given directly in mass itself. In terms of mass only it is given. How much it is? 1 gram. Now see, all we have converted into mass quantity. Which is having greater mass among these all? 0.1 mole of ammonia is weighing 1.7 grams. It is the only quantity given more than 1 gram. Okay, that will be correct answer. Got it? Next. What does the atomicity of an element tell us about? What does it mean by atomicity? The number of atoms present in one molecule is called its atomicity. The number of atoms present in one molecule of an element is called its atomicity. Number of atoms in the molecule. Next, all samples of pure water contain hydrogen and oxygen in the mass ratio 1 is to 8. To which of the following laws does the above statement is agreement? Yes, in all samples of water, the ratio of the masses of hydrogen and oxygen is being fixed. That means they are combining the simple whole number ratio always. From which law it is given an illustration about this, that is law of definite proportions or law of constant proportions. Where is it? Law of constant proportions. Actually, this also is correct. Law of definite proportions. These both are representing the same, which was given by law Joseph Proust. Law of constant proportions or law of definite proportions. Both are same. Okay, next. A molecular formula is a short form representation of X. Identify X from the following. So, a molecular formula represents a compound. For example, if you say water, what is the molecular formula of water? H2O. Here H2O is a compound. Generally, we use molecular formula for representing compounds. Next, which of the following is a tetraatomic molecule? Tetra. What does it mean here, tetra? Tetra means 4. See the molecule which is having 4 atoms in it. That is correct answer. See first one. 1 calcium, 1 carbon, 3 oxygens. Totally there are 5 atoms. What about water? 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. 3 atoms. If you see C2H2, which is called ethane or acetylene. If you observe number of atoms, there are 2 carbons and 2 hydrogens, totally 4 atoms. Here 1 carbon, 4 chlorines, 5 atoms. So in this way, acetylene C2H2 is having 4 atoms. Now we can say it is a tetraatomic molecule. Next, the relation between empirical formula and molecular formula of a common factor N. Okay, the relation between empirical formula, molecular formula and a common factor or integer N. How they are related? We know molecular formula is equal to N into empirical formula, because when common factor or common integer is removed, then we get empirical formula from the molecular formula. So if common factor is removed from the molecular formula, we get empirical formula. If you multiply again the common factor to the empirical formula, we get molecular formula. So in this way these two are related. Next, single correct answer type questions. The smallest unit of any element is called. What is the smallest unit of any element? It is called atom. The number of atoms constituting a molecule is known as. Just now you have seen this. The number of atoms present in one molecule of an element is called its atomicity. Next, the combining capacity of an element is called. It is called valency. The combining capacity of an element is called valency. The atoms lose electrons to form. What do they form when electrons are lost by elements? Elements or atoms, they lose electrons and they form positive ions, which are also called cations. For example, if you see sodium, sodium loses one electron and forms Na plus ion. This Na plus ion is called positive ion or cation. Okay, next one. The valency of inert gases is. What does it mean by a valency here? The combining capacity. But actually here inert gases, they do not have any intention to combine. They are already satisfied. So we can say their combining capacity is 0. That means their valency is 0. Next, the atomicity of noble gases is. Just now we told the atoms of noble gases, they do not combine with other elements and even they won't combine themselves also. That is why they always exist in the single atomic form. Single atoms only, they exist as molecules. Now the number of atoms in the molecule will be 1. The number of atoms in the molecule is called atomicity. So the atomicity of noble gases is 1. Okay. Don't be confused here. Valency is 0, whereas atomicity is 1 for noble gases. Next one, the number of moles of 52 grams of helium is. They are asking to calculate number of moles. For calculating number of moles, we have a formula. Let us see a solution. Number of moles is equal to given weight in grams by gram atomic weight. We know the gram atomic weight or gram atomic mass of helium is 4. So if it is here they have given atomic mass with 4 units. So if you say this gram atomic weight, the same quantity of atomic mass is expressed in grams. So gram atomic weight of helium is now 4 grams. If we substitute these two, we get the number of moles. Number of moles is equal to given weight by gram atomic weight. Given weight is 52 grams and the gram atomic weight is 4. What do we get number of moles? We get as 13. Okay, next one. Formula of magnesium chloride is. How do we get formula? So, formula of ionic compounds or certain compounds are written by using crisscross method. In that method, first we write positive ion followed by negative ion. What is the positive ion here? Magnesium ion. We know the formula of magnesium ion as Mg plus 2 and followed by negative ion. What is negative ion here? Chloride ion, Cl minus. In the second step, the highest common factor from their valencies is eliminated or removed. See, the valency of magnesium is 2, the valency of chlorine is 1. The highest common factor itself it is 1. No need to take any common factor now. Let us skip to third step. In the third step, by neglecting the symbols of these charges, only the valency numbers are crisscrossed. That means this 1 is written at the bottom or base of magnesium. This 2 is written at the base of chlorine. Now it becomes Mg1Cl2. If it is 1, need not to write. Now it becomes MgCl2. MgCl2 is the formula of magnesium chloride. Okay. Next, formula for aluminium oxide. Try in the same way. Aluminium ion formula Al plus 3. Oxide ion formula O minus 2. Can we get any common factor from these two valencies 3 and 2? No. So next we neglect these symbols of these charges. We crisscross these numbers. Al2O3. So the formula of aluminium oxide is Al2O3. Next, identify the symbols of lead and mercury respectively. What are the symbols of these two elements, lead and mercury? Lead symbol is derived from its Latin name plumbum. So its symbol is Pb. And mercury symbol is derived from its Latin name hydrogerum. So its symbol is Hg. Pb and Hg, where these two are? Yes, here. So first lead symbol, then mercury symbol. Pb and Hg is correct. Next, identify the pair of substances having same formula unit mass or molecular mass. So they have given some pairs of compounds. Now we have to calculate their molecular masses or formula unit masses. Then we have to observe which are having same molecular masses or formula unit mass. See the first pair. The first option, first they have given calcium chloride. The formula is CaCl2. If we calculate its molecular mass, we get it as 111. Whereas for potassium chloride, molecular mass we get it as 138. Next, so these two are not having same same molecular mass or formula unit mass. Then let us go to the second, calcium oxide. Calcium oxide molecular mass is 56. Next, hydrochloric acid HCl. There, one hydrogen, one chlorine. Total it becomes 36.5 is its molecular mass. So here also these two are not having same molecular mass or formula unit mass. So these two are not correct. Next, third one you see carbon monoxide CO. So its molecular mass is 28, whereas for ammonia it is 17. So these two are also not having same molecular mass. Let us see fourth option, carbon dioxide. Molecular mass of carbon dioxide is 44. Whereas for nitrous oxide N2O, which we call commonly as laughing gas. So this molecular mass is 44. So here these two are having same molecular mass. Now the correct option is D. Okay, next. Carbon and oxygen react together to produce carbon dioxide. What is the weight of oxygen required to convert 1.5 grams of carbon to carbon dioxide. So let us say solution. Carbon combining with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So the reaction regarding it. The balanced chemical equation is carbon combining with oxygen to form carbon dioxide. It is balanced equation. From this we can say 12 grams of carbon combines with 32 grams of oxygen to form carbon dioxide. That means 12 grams of carbon requires 32 grams of oxygen. Now what they have given? 1.5 grams of carbon. So 1.5 grams of carbon requires how many grams of carbon? If we cross multiply these two, we get as x is equal to 32 into 1.5 by 12. If we simplify this, we get it as 4 grams. So 1.5 grams of carbon requires 4 grams of oxygen to convert completely into carbon dioxide. Okay. Next. How many moles are present in 540 grams of glucose? See the molecular formula of glucose as C6H12O6. So number of moles formula, what is that? Given weight by gram molecular weight. We know the gram molecular weight of glucose as 180 because the molecular formula is this C6H12O6. If we calculate, we get the gram molecular weight of glucose as 180 grams. So if we substitute these two values, given weight 540 and gram molecular weight 180, we get it as 3 moles. Okay, next. Calculate the number of atoms present in 6.4 grams of sulfur. The formula to calculate number of atoms is given weight by gram atomic weight into Avogadro number. So their given weight is 6.4 divided by gram atomic weight is 32 into Avogadro number. If we simplify, we get it as 1.2 into 10 to the power of 23 atoms. Where is it? In third option. Okay, next one. Calculate the number of moles present in 60 grams of NaOH. What is the formula to calculate number of moles? Number of moles is equal to given weight by gram molecular weight. Let us substitute those here. Number of moles is equal to given weight by gram molecular weight. So 60 grams divided by 40 grams. We get it as 1.5 moles. Next. The chemical formula which expresses the simplest number ratio of atoms of the various elements present in the one molecule of the compound is known as empirical formula. So the formula which represents the simplest ratio of atoms is empirical formula. Which represents the actual number of atoms in a molecule is molecular formula. Okay, here they're asking simplest ratio, so it is empirical formula. The empirical formula of water is, we know the molecular formula of water as H2O. Now if you take the simplest ratio of the atoms in this molecule, that gives empirical formula. Can you take out any common factor from the number of atoms of hydrogen and oxygen? See how many hydrogens? 2 hydrogens. How many oxygens? 1 oxygen. Can we take any common factor from these two? No. Now the molecular formula itself, it becomes empirical formula as there is no common factor to eliminate from the number of atoms. Okay, now the empirical formula of water is its molecular formula itself, that is H2O. Next, what is the empirical formula for a compound that contains 25% of hydrogen and 75% carbon? So if any percentage weights of elements are given, then we can calculate empirical formula by drawing a chart here. See, first element symbols are written and then percentage weights of each elements are written. Then the percentage weight of each element is divided with its atomic weight. See here, the atomic weight of hydrogen is 1 and its percentage weight given as 25. Now 25 is divided with 1. We get it as 25. And for carbon, atomic weight is 12 and its percentage weight is given 75%. So 75 by 12, it gives 6.25. And then with the obtained numbers, among the obtained numbers, with the smallest number, all the numbers are divided to get the simple whole number ratio. Now here, out of these two, the simplest one is smallest number is 6.25. With this 6.25, these two numbers are divided again. Now, when 25 is divided with this, we get here 4 and we get here 1. So, these numbers represents the number of atoms present in the empirical formula of that compound. So, this gives 4 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of carbon. So, the empirical formula of the compound is CH4. In this way, empirical formula is derived. Okay. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates and recorded videos.